Good day, everyone. My name is Danielle Woodard, and I want to discuss the modern concerns in the emergency management career field. Starting off, I wanted to discuss how emergency management is growing and that the constant move to adapt and overcome any obstacles that may come our way. These employees, including myself, react to both natural and man-made disasters by not only filling the role of an emergency responder, but always planning for and creating exercise for the worst case scenarios. The four factors encouraging and guiding emergency managers are the four phases of emergency management, which starts with mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery. Now, the focus of my presentation details the everyday headaches between members of the career field, the dangers faced, communication, and even government obstacles, along with firsthand experience I've had. Initially, I intend on outlining the overall objective and career field conditions, then proceeding to identify the issues faced on an internal scale. Now, why is this important when it comes to relation to the career field? Personally, I know the difficulties faced by military members of emergency management, but I also wanted to focus on the common difficulties we face on the civilian and military scale and what we share in the aspects career-wise. I researched our employment data as well as salaries and the shared physical dangers we face too. Funding across all sectors, military and civilian, has always been touchy. Emergency management just does not affect everybody in the career field. It extends to everyone to be receptive to direction advised in times of crisis. Additionally, on top of expounding on my experience on a surface level, I want to discuss what went right and what difficulties were faced in those responses. Now, what I thought was important to discuss was our employment statistics, the range of our salaries, physical dangers we can face in the career field, the 2017 proposed budget cuts, the cause and effect of funding, my personal experiences in the field, and lastly, I wanted to summarize basically everything we're going to talk about. And at the very end, I'll have a slide dedicated to the works that I've cited and used. Requirements and facts within our career field consist of initially having a bachelor's degree to enter the field, as well as National Incident Management System specific training. Emergency managers also have various specialized requirements based on location-specific hazards. Starting off, you can be a hazmat technician. Personally, I am a Tech 2 certified hazmat tech. Also, you can have chemical defense training facility training, which tests you with live or nerve agents such as sarin and VX. Also, you take FEMA courses. You get nuclear-specific training. You work within the Emergency Operations Center. You take FBI sampling courses. You write plans for any kind of disaster that may come up, and you can become a certified emergency manager. Listed on the right, I pulled some data from the Labor Bureau. And for 2014, the employment started roughly at 10,500. In 2024, what they project employment to be is well over 11,000. Here, I wanted to list salary trends in 2016 within the career field. As you can see, it ranges specifically by which organization you tend to join. For example, government median income is over 54,000. DoD contractor is well over 70,000. And in the middle, you have military, which greatly ranges due to ranks given within the military. The average seems to be roughly around 50,000. However, DoD contractors can make almost $100,000. These statistics I also pulled from the Emergency Management Degree website, as well as the Labor Bureau of the United States too. In this video, I wanted to show the impact of a mass chlorine release in Graniteville, South Carolina back in 2005. The incident was very catastrophic, and it took a large impact on community and local responders. Members of the local community were not only injured, but resulted in 9 fatalities. Emergency and first responders spent 10 days working 24 hours straight to make the area safe and livable once more for the villagers. Emergency management personnel faced not only hazmat danger, but CBRNE, which means chem, biological, radiological, nuclear, and high-yield explosive dangers, as well as natural disasters. Persons in our career field also make decisions and responses that could not only result in injury or death for a responder, and the public is also at our mercy if we make a wrong decision. Now that I've identified physical dangers, I wanted to focus on the invisible ones that can also affect our responses. Before I get to the cause and effect of the invisible dangers that we face, I first wanted to highlight the proposed budget cuts in 2017. Overall, FEMA will be cut about $536 million from its grants in education, which will really result in the community getting less education as well as the responders getting less training. The main unseen dangers we face are the results of funding and the eternal cause and effect cycle that it creates and perception to our career field. The figure I presented here outlines the cause and effect reaction that our government seems to portray and the toll it takes on us and the public. Funding loss is the catalyst, and the loss of employees is due to budgetary constraints. With the loss of many employees, we are much more busy and more ground will need to be covered with efforts. As with the slower responses, the public views emergency managers as unsympathetic and unconcerned with their well-being. Now, with the loss of public trust, the government acts under increased public pressure and condemns FEMA, for example, causing the draftings of reforms, cutting unnecessary funding. Lastly, the effects then wrap up and back around, causing an unending cycle of the same thing with no different solutions. I wanted to discuss my experience within the field, but I also wanted to notate that I've only had the experience of a military emergency manager. For each, I want to discuss what happened, to initiate the response, describe our effort, and examine positive and negative observations when we responded. First, I wanted to outline the B-52 crash that occurred here on Guam back in May. Now, I personally responded to this crash for about a week straight as an emergency responder, and our main concern was potential radioactive sources on board of the aircraft. My coworkers and I continually assisted the Safety Investigation Board on how to enter and properly evacuate the scene. However, we were very surprised to find that no crew members were injured, though the plane was a total loss. Now, positively, first emergency responders worked well in getting the evidence we needed to figure out how this occurred. The scene was well controlled, and due to the diligence of responders, the Emergency Operations Center was only active about 2 days. Issues to improve upon, however, were firstly, no one properly decontaminated after entry and through the cordon. This could have posed a massive hazard, just not to the entry crew, but the other responders, as radioactive particulates and due to being alpha particles were airborne. The complacency could have caused these particles to be lethal if inhaled. I also wanted to discuss Super Typhoon Dolphin. Now, it hit Guam as a Category 2 before going out to sea and gaining strength. The typhoon had max winds on Andersen Air Force Base at about 106 miles an hour, and the image I attached on the left was taken outside my front door on May 16th of 2015 during the early stages of impact with the island. Now, Dolphin was actually quoted of having sustained winds over 100 miles an hour near the center of the cyclone as it made its closest approach. During the storm, I worked in the Emergency Support Function 5 in our Emergency Operations Center. I helped report base status, guide other ESF functions, and assist afterwards with base recovery. Now, the EOC staff worked together diligently to make impact to personnel as minimal as possible. And together, we managed to divert a plane from Guam's airport to the base because of power loss at the actual airport. I would also like to stress that different services came together to help the base recover and assist with cleanup. The incident command system was followed perfectly by all military personnel. One noticeable downside I noted was the poor reciprocation of response efforts by civilian counterparts at FEMA. We had no common program to speak with them during the storms or to take any kind of request for assistance from us. When power was lost off base, we heard no additional updates on their end, and it was a complete communication blackout. Overall, my goal in this presentation was to not only touch on what we do as emergency managers, but stress the importance of the job and the employees within the field. While responders face internal issues with themselves Overall, the real issue is the importance of political backing. Jerome Kahan states, FEMA's goal of continually to effectively meet its disaster relief responsibilities can be reached only if political influences are not allowed to complicate and perhaps even halt its progress. And without the support of our government and other first emergency response personnel, we can honestly never reach the attention of the public with the importance of our purpose. While issues in response result in finger pointing and right and wrong, I'm very hopeful for this career field, especially in regard to political and public support. Here are the sources I used, and they really range from civilian and military counterparts. And I found them very useful and aiding in this project to get my point across, especially the salary statistics as well as additional imagery that I added into the presentation. In closing, I just want to add that if anybody had any questions about the career field in the military aspect, I would be more than happy to answer them. And if I can assist in guiding you towards someone within FEMA, if you had any questions within the career field, I can definitely help as well. Thank you for your time.